Well, hey there everybody. Welcome back to the Getting Dirty Off-Road channel. Today, this video, black Ford 351 Windsor. We need to hone the cylinders, but before we can do that, we need to take the bang makers out of the way. So, to do that, we need to get the oil pan off. So, this video is going to pertain to the removal. Maybe we'll get into the install, but it's going to involve these Pistons connecting rod assemblies. So that's what we're doing now. Stick around. I got a bunch of other videos on this. I'm trying to do a bunch of shorts. So you guys hang out. We'll get these Pistons connecting rods and all that such happening. So if you haven't seen the other videos leading up to this point, go back, check them out. They're on there. Let's go. So I'm trying not to bore you guys to death with a bunch of monotonous, take this bolt out, take that bolt out, you got 47 bolts to get out. You know, I hate that myself. So you guys let me know if my clip in and out as I go is working for you. If it's not, you want some more detail, just let me know. Throw it down there in those comments. I don't get very many comments, so I definitely read them. But, you know, we all know how to take bolts out of things, or if we don't, I mean, I'm happy to show you the whole process, but I figured I'd shorten some things up and we'd just get right to the point. So we'll get this oil pan off of there and we'll come back to you. I don't know, like I said, 40 some bolts, I have no idea. There's a bunch. Well, still messing around with taking this oil pan off. You know, we got to get to those connecting rods. And I started thinking, you know, that Derek, he's always out wondering what all them famous people are doing. And, well, I think he's getting pretty famous. So I wonder what Derek's doing today. You know what? I'll bet you he's driving an ice cream truck. Okay, got that oil pan out of the way now. Since we're gonna zip a hone in there, I'm gonna remove the Pistons connecting rod assemblies. Just get them out of the way, check the bearings on them, get things cleaned up, good to go again. Now my big pointer here, it's gonna be your caps, and I don't know if you can see on this one. Oh, it's a little tough to see. But anyways, right here on this flat spot, it's already been stamped number 1 on that number 1 piston. I will check each one of them, and remember, it's a Ford, and I'm trying to stay in order. Looks like what would be number 2 is, well, it's stamped like it should be for number 2, so I don't know if that means that somebody's already been in here or it was built that way, factory. I don't know, but I will check every single one of them and make sure that they are numbered. And usually when you stamp your numbers, you do them on the same side, rod and cap, in relation to the direction that the piston needs to be in the bore. So it's all part of keeping things in order. It's very important, especially with your internal components, to stay in order. Keep it all in order the way it's supposed to be. Now, I'm saying it won't work if you get it mixed up. I am saying it's better to keep it in order. Then it's already worn into where it's living and everything works. I feel like that nut right there was tighter than the head bolts, honestly. Now they need to be tight, but it feels like that was tighter than the head bolts. Okay, so I'm still sliding these pistons out. One little pointer I wanted to hand out there is as I do each one, I like to line the connecting rod up so that it's straight in line with whichever piston, whichever hole we're coming out of. It just makes it a lot simpler to manage. It's a straight shot out. Still have the camshaft in there, so be careful that you're not dropping it and smacking it on the lobes of the camshaft down there. I mean, from what I can tell, the camshaft's still in good shape, so I don't want to replace it. I honestly don't really want to do a whole lot of replacement here, but as I got into this, there's things that need done. I just can't leave it that way. Could have easily closed it up and sent it down the road, but we'll make it run good for a guy. Now, I've been sliding these out. So far, I have 2 left. And I haven't found any deep grooves whatsoever in the cylinders. However, every single one of them has a busted compression ring. Every single one of them. I don't know what that's about. But she's going to get some new rings for sure. So we'll clean those grooves up, you know, as we go. That'll be another video, I suspect. But we'll have everything cleaned up, some new rings to go back in after we hone it all. Number one was really super bad. I'll bet you this compression ring was, I'll bet it had 62 pieces all the way around it. So I don't know why they're all broke, but they're getting replaced anyway as we go. Alrighty, so I've been doing a little bit of my piston connecting rod assembly inspection stuff. I've run out of tables, kind of out of space as well. So here we are, front of the truck. Just been kind of looking things over. You know, I don't know what to tell you. See if anything's broke. See if anything's grooved up super badly. You know, for me, these are all pretty smooth. They're carboned up, but not horribly, honestly. I've seen worse, and I don't really do this all that often, so I have seen worse. But I'm looking for the wrist pin to move freely. It's moving side to side, it seems. Maybe it's stuck in the rod, but maybe it's supposed to be pressed in the rod. I don't know. I mean, it depends on the style, but it all seems like it's working properly there. You know, none of the rod bearings were spun, so I'm not worried about the connecting rod or the rod caps as far as the backside of the bearing area goes. Like I said, they're all pretty smooth. I'll have to clean them up, of course, but they look pretty good. The tops of all of them were in good shape. I didn't find any cracks, no damage as far as the valves hitting the pistons. Nothing strange, really. The only thing odd that I found, absolutely every piston, the top compression ring was broke in one way or another. Like I say, number one was, it was broke probably in 70 different pieces. I don't know. I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen, and like I said, I don't do this a lot. Not very often, really. Maybe this is the 3rd, 4th time. I don't know. Too many years to think about, but I've done it a few times. Let's just say a couple of times. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I have done it a few times. I've never found one come out with any of the rings broken, honestly. I'm sure it happens. I'm sure there's a reason for this. I don't know what the reason is. This engine had a whole lot of gasoline in the oil, so it was just a wash and everything, and that's probably why there isn't that much carbon on anything. Is it had plenty of a solvent style fluid in it, let's say. But anywho's, one thing that I'm gonna do, and this is a good one ring broken. This is a good one to keep and use. I'm actually gonna use this anywhere that there's heavy carbon buildup. Let's just look right there. Got some right there. Gonna use this ring and just gently scrape that carbon out of the groove. Because in the end, once we get our new rings, we're gonna want that groove to be really clean so that as this engine operates, the rings will operate properly as well, because while she's a banging up and down and doing her thing, the rings will turn inside the cylinders, and it may only be just a little bit each stroke, but they're going to turn. And if our groove is full of carbon, we're going to reuse these pistons. If our groove is full of carbon, that's going to restrict our movement. So I'll use these pieces, and I don't want to scratch the aluminum up on the pistons themselves, but I definitely want to knock out any of the carbon buildup from that area. Give it a good clean, so when we put our new rings on there and we slide it back in the bore, everything's going to move properly. And that's the main objective. Put things back the way they should be so they work like they're supposed to. All right. Now, I thought I had a pair of pliers, and they got a funny looking thing on the end there for installing these piston rings. So I was just gonna show, you know, taking them off with that. I don't know, maybe I never had a set. I don't know. I've seen them, at least. Anyways, you can do it without those. You just got to be really careful. Move one end at a time. Make your way around, you know. You don't want to break on your rings or tear a bunch of stuff up. Especially the new ones. So just be cautious as you go. And what I find that I forgot to bring over here is sometimes a small screwdriver, this one here just has a point. I got a little small straight edge. Maybe that's what happened to it, I don't know. Anyway, sometimes you might take a little something you can just gently grab on the end of that ring and help it from one spot to another. So now we've moved it from this lower compression ring groove up into the upper compression ring groove, and then we'll just work it off the end of the piston now. And as long as you're careful, you can do it. Those ring pliers, you put the ends of the rings into it, and then they spread open just a little bit so that you can slip over. Just be cautious however you do it, that you're not stretching on your spring a bunch, that you're not scratching, putting deep grooves in your piston. You know, just be careful. You'll be fine. Okay, still cleaning pistons here. Oh, that's too bright. That's probably not going to work out for you. Anyways, I'm going to reuse these, so I'm getting down in the grooves all cleaned up. Then that way when I put the new rings on there, they can move. Still got a pretty good chunk right there. But you want the rings to be able to turn inside of here. You don't want any obstructions, so we're getting all that old carbon scraped out of there. Now I'm just using one of the old rings that was broke. Fits right in the groove, just scraping it around, but I come to realize while peeling skin off my finger, I would highly recommend a glove for that action. But just scraping it through there, try not to cause any damage to your aluminum on your piston, but you can see the carbon's popping out of there, dust. That's going straight in the lungs. I'll feel that in another 20 years probably and wonder what happened. But some of it's been pretty tough to get. But you just got to keep after it. Any of your internal parts you absolutely want to be clean. Sucks. I hate doing it. It's monotonous. Takes forever sometimes. But in the end, it's worth it. And then down here where the oil ring goes, there's really not much of anything. Yeah. Not as much, maybe I should say. That's pretty good like that, I'd say. Little hand wash here. So for the moment, I'm going to call it. Probably look at it again, but 7 more to go if we're all keeping count here. Okay, I've got all 8 of them cleaned up. I think they're pretty good. I don't know if I'll dip them in the solvent tank one more time before I put the rings on, but they're clean. They're pretty darn spiffy. All the grooves are all free of the carbon and everything, so cleaned up real nice, really. So I think what we're gonna do now is end this video, and we'll just call it the removal and cleaning, and then we'll move on into another video for the rings and reinstall into the block portion. So yeah, I don't know, several months later, we're finished with this video. I think I've had them cleaned up for a little while, but you know, I was going through the clips and oh shoot, I need to finish that one up. So here we are, we're finished. I'll get another one going on as far as installing the rings, getting them back in the engine. Like I said, monotonous, keep saying it. Oh, when are you gonna get over this? I know you guys. Anyways, it's been a long one. So we're done here with this. We'll move on with the next one as it comes at you. I don't know. You guys don't know what it'll be. Who knows what it'll be. But I sure do appreciate you sticking with me. Like I said, I've been running like crazy. So I'll get you something out there. But thanks for hanging out. I surely do appreciate it. If you could, subscribe. The bells will tell you when the next video's up. Share it, throw it out there, laugh at it, learn from it. I don't know. Give me some feedback so I know what's going on out there, okay? Let me know how the music did. Requests, they're welcome. All right, let's finish it. Okay, thanks for watching. Glad you stuck around. Catch you in the next one.